Welcome to Fanatics Live, where we virtually connect you with your favorite stars and athletes right at home. Tonight, we will be meeting with fans, signing autographs, and engaging in live Q&A. Now, let's welcome our host.
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Fanatics Live, where we bring your favorite athletes to you right at home. I'm your host, Doug Plagans. We'll be getting to our special guest here in just a moment. But before we bring in today's special guest, want to remind you that today's show is brought to you by the FanCash Rewards Card by Fanatics. As a FanCash Rewards card holder, you receive benefits and perks, including access to unforgettable experiences with athletes, earn 6% fan cash on every purchase, exclusive deals, offers, and much more. Well, time to bring in today's special guest, a five-time World Series champion. As a member of the New York Yankees, his 19 postseason wins are first in Major League history. A three-time All-Star, he was MVP of the 2001 American League Championship Series. He finished his great career with 254 total wins. Joining us today on Fanatics Live, the great Andy Pettitte. Andy, how are you? Thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking some time out for us. How's it going?
Good, Doug. How are you?
Doing great. And before we get started, just want to give you and all the folks tuned in a little rundown of what we have coming up here. We've got some questions for you right off the top. We're going to bring in some of the people who are patiently waiting backstage here in just a moment. We've got some questions coming in from social media in just a little bit. And Andy, we're going to have the rapid fire portion coming up a little bit later on. So I hope you're ready for that. But before we get too far along, Andy, it's been a while since we've had you on here, and I know you've been coaching your son's team. How's that going, and what else have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been going good. This past year, we were able to win a state championship title here in Texas in our division in TAPS baseball and private schools. So, I've been coaching 8 years. That was our second state championship, so it's not easy to win, and so that's what, I've still continued to do. My son started school today, his first day of school at his senior year. So, we'll coach him for one more year, and then he'll move on to college baseball, and we'll see what we'll do after that. Really, I just been being a dad. I spend a lot of time hunting. I love to hunt. And so that's one of my hobbies. I love playing golf, and I've got 2 grandbabies now, and spend an awful lot of time with them and try to help my son and my daughter-in-law out with that. And so a combination of all those things, having 4 kids and grandbabies now, and it keeps me pretty occupied, that's for sure.
Well, I got to tell you, congratulations for all the success on the field and off the field, the new additions to the family. Thank you. Congratulations. And sounds like you've been keeping busy. But in mentioning the coaching, and you guys have achieved some success, what's been the biggest difference for you going from being a big league player for so many years to now coaching your son's team?
Well, it's a big difference. It's a big adjustment, right? You're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. So, you just got to have patience. Obviously, when you're a big league player and you're doing it yourself, it's you, right? Like you're controlling it. You're putting the work in. You know how prepared you are. And then dealing with teenage kids, it's just a lot different. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. But it's been fun. I think it's helped me to be able to relax a little bit and just enjoy the game a little bit more and realize everyone's not trying to make it to the big leagues. A lot of these kids will never play baseball again that I'm coaching after their high school season. Senior seasons are over. And so it's really just helped me to realize how, the game is fun and kids love to play it. I always wanted to play it at a super, super high level, but it's fun to see the other flip of the coin of just kids love baseball, they love sports, and they want to play it, and then they'll go on to college and do their studies and move on to whatever career they want to follow. And, for 99% of the kids and, that play high school baseball, a lot of them, they don't get a chance to go on to the next level and play college baseball.
I know it's probably a huge thrill for all of them to be able to learn the game from you and to be around you. And I'm sure it's a thrill for you too, to see the progression that they show each and every day. So taking that, going from the big games that you guys have been involved with there to just looking at where we are here, Andy, in the baseball calendar, you know a thing or two about playing in big games, about being in pennant races, about divisional races, things like that. Looking at where we are right now in the season, can you give us a little bit of perspective on what it's like inside a clubhouse right now in the major leagues with the games getting bigger and bigger every single day? I mean, were you much of a standings watcher, a scoreboard watcher every day? How do you keep yourself prepared, and how do you approach the games every day when they get to mean so much this time of the year?
Yeah, this time of year, it really is. It becomes a little bit of a grind. You're getting through those dog days of the summer. Most places it's warm. You're 130 games into the season, maybe 120, and so it's a lot. Your body starts to wear down. Your mind starts to wear down a little bit, and of course. I feel like you'd be lying if you said you didn't watch, right? What was going on around the league, the teams in your division, where you're standing, what you kind of need to do. But these next few weeks as a player is kind of those days where, man, if I could just get through August, and get to September, and then you get to September, you start going to some of these outdoor stadiums, a little cooler temperatures, and it just feels like fall baseball, right? And so you almost catch like a second wind, and at least I did. And so that's kind of like I would say would be my mindset during this time of year, and usually our team's mindset. It's kind of like battling through that month of August and then just looking forward to getting to September.
Yeah, it seems like that would really give you kind of a reboot when you get into the fall and you start to see the playoffs on the horizon, things like that. And in mentioning postseason baseball, Andy, you were part of the first Subway Series back in 2000. You pitched the clincher in that series. What did that series between the Yankees and the Mets mean to New York as a whole? And I know there are a lot of great teams in Major League Baseball right now, but it's entirely possible that we could see the Yankees and the Mets meet in the Fall Classic again. What would that mean to see it again?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, that was a special time, obviously. As a player, and I think as a Yankee player, it's almost like that was probably the most pressure I think we've ever felt. we had an owner, Mr. Steinbrenner, at that time that just took it to another level of like his competitiveness and how bad he wanted us to win that series. So. But for the city, what a special time. And if that was able to happen again, I know it would just, it would be just a wonderful time around New York and the excitement that brings, because you just have such a passionate fan base. And then just, two teams just so close to each other and the fan base so just right on top of each other. It just makes, the fans made that an amazing series for us. And then, of course, to be able to win that thing, it was extremely important to us because it kind of gave you the bragging rights, right, of New York City. And then, like I told you, ownership was not going to be happy if we weren't able to pull that series out.
Yeah, it was a third in a row, fourth in 5 years. And I tell you what, if they were able to meet again, it would be the same kind of situation. It would be loaded with star power. It would just be exciting for all of baseball. And again, it's entirely possible that we see another Yankees-Mets Subway Series again here this fall. Well, Andy, you want to transition now into getting to some of the folks who've been waiting patiently backstage. We have some good people backstage who are excited to chat with you. And first, I want to go out to Takahiro. Andy, he's joining us all the way from Tokyo, Japan here today. So Takahiro, first up, says he likes pitching, but he would want to be a DH if he played in the majors. So good for him. They've got the DH everywhere now. And also says he became a fan of yours, Andy, after attending his first Yankees game way back in 2001. Let's welcome in my friend and yours, Takahiro, here to Fanatics Live. Takahiro, you are on with Andy Pettitte.
Hi, Mr. Andy. How are you?
Hey, buddy.
Hi. I am so happy I can meet you. It is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I am so sorry I can't speak English.
Well, we'll do our best here. Try to figure out if we get through it.
Thanks. May I ask you a question? I have your final game used to cap September 28th. 2030 at Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. Please tell me the meaning of audience of 1 plus STP. STP.
Asking me about audience of 1 right there that I wrote on there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Christian man, and so for me, I would, during the course of the game, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and so under my hats, I would always write audience of 1 on there because I wanted to make sure when I took the mound and I would come in the dugout, I take my hat off and I set it down right here at my feet in between every inning. And so I just wanted to always remind myself that don't worry about the fans in the stands. Don't worry about the millions of people watching on TV. You go out there and perform like there's only one person watching me. And for me, that would be Jesus Christ. And so that's kind of was a reminder to me to try to help me with just the pressure of handling those situations.
Those were your game belief and motivation.
I'm sorry.
Well, he's got the hat, of course, from Andy from your last game.
Okay.
I think what was going through your mind when you went out there to pitch that last game? How did you prepare for that one?
Oh, that was tough. It was just emotional. It was my hometown in Houston, so I had all my family, all my friends. So many people were at that game to watch me, and of course, you want to perform great, right? And then you just know it's your last time to take the field. And so it was a day that I tried to soak it all in and just enjoy it. It was kind of hard to do that, just knowing that it was over. And but man, what a blessing it was for me. I don't think I had pitched a game in my final start of my career. So that was awfully exciting for me to be able to do. And after the game was over, I got like a standing ovation. The crowd kind of started chanting my name, and I was on the road. So it was just a really great moment for me. It's a moment that I'll always remember in my career.
Thanks. I really appreciate your kindness answer. Thank you very much. I will never forget this moment of today. I am so happy I can't meet you again. And it was nice talking to you. Thanks again.
Well, great job, Takahiro.
Awfully nice to meet you.
Yeah, we thank you, Takahiro. And Andy's got a baseball there for you from what I understand as well. But Takahiro joining us all the way from Japan, and it just shows, Andy mentioned it a few moments ago, Yankees fans, I think the first word that comes to mind is passionate, but also global. There are Yankees fans around the world. It's such a big brand, and remind of that right now with Takahiro joining us all the way from out in Japan.
Nice to meet you. I signed this ball for you, and so
thank you, Mr. Andy. Thank you. See you again, Tata.
All right, take care.
Thank you very much. That's Takahiro all the way from out in Japan. And Andy, you touched on it there a little bit, but that last game, and he's got the hat from your last game, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But that last game, you went the distance, picked up the win in a 2-1 game. What did it mean for you to pitch all 9 in that last game?
It meant an awful lot. I had some serious cheerleaders in the dugout during that game. I'll never forget it. My pitching coach, Jeter, the guys were, I think Mariano was done. I think he was in the dugout. Alex was in there. And, I was pretty much done after 7 innings and didn't know if I'd be able to get through the whole game. I actually strained my groin also in like the 7th inning of that game. So, it was just one of those games where really and truly I just felt so blessed to be able to do that. It was the guys were motivating me to go out there and try to get through it. I know Joe, my manager, wanted me to get through it. And thank goodness I didn't get in trouble because it was still very important. We wanted to win the game. And Joe let me, finish it out and get through. If I would have given up a couple of runners in that 9th inning, he was probably going to pull me out of the game. So I was able to get through it. So that was great.
Yeah, I'm sure one of those games where pure adrenaline just took over at certain points. But let's go on now. We've got Ethan joining us. He's calling in from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Never been there. Ethan says he's a pitcher, and says he wishes he didn't have to worry about arm care so he could go out there and pitch every single day. And Andy says he became a fan of yours because he loves the Yankees and he loves lefty pitchers. Let's bring in Ethan from Alabama. Ethan, my friend, you are here on Fanatics Live with Andy Pettitte. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, Ethan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, everything's really good.
My question I have for you is, I'm a 13-year-old lefty pitcher. What advice would you give me to help me as I work to have a career in baseball? And looking back to when you were 13, do you wish you had done anything different? Thanks.
Yeah, so, well, I'm left-handed, so that's a good thing, right? We can kind of talk left-handed pitchers, you know. So one thing that really stands out to me that I would emphasize to you as a 13-year-old is to really work. I wish I would have worked a lot harder at a younger age on developing a good changeup. Don't know if you have that, but that is one thing that I strongly recommend that you work extremely hard on. I know it's kind of cool to throw hard, and it's cool to have obviously great breaking stuff, which, you know, you need that, right, to be successful. But boy, I really wish that I would have developed a great changeup as a young kid. Some other advice that I would give you as far as just trying to be a pitcher and trying to develop, you know, you're still young, you know, you're 13 years old, but I know I'm around baseball, right? I mean, I know how competitive it is. I know how, you know, the push for velocity and stuff like that. And one thing I wish I would have done a little bit more in high school is been on a little bit better throwing program. And it sounds like to me that you're already doing arm care, because you were saying you wish you didn't have to do so much so you could throw every single day. Well, yes, you know, just make sure you take care of your arm. I know that at your age, especially if you're having success, that those coaches will run you out there and use you an awful lot. But make sure you're paying attention and taking care of your arm so you can stay healthy. But I would definitely recommend. Are you a sophomore or a freshman or an eighth grader right now? What are you?
I'm in eighth grade.
Eighth grade, yeah. So as you get into high school, you know, you still have time to mature a little bit for sure. I would say a couple more years, you could really start getting on a strenuous throwing program before your high school seasons start. But you've got to be real careful at this age you are right now. I've been coaching since I've, you know, retired for the last 8 or 9 years. And I've seen so many 12, 13, 14, even my own kids, you know, have growth plate issues and stuff like that. So just make sure you're being well aware and taking care of your arm. And as you get to be 15, 16, 17 years old, I would say really pay attention to what kind of long toss program that you're getting on and arm strength, working on your arm strength before your season starts, and try to build your velocity up like that. Would recommend trying. I know it's really, you know, kind of sexy right now to do, but I'm not a big fan of all the weighted balls and throwing the weighted balls at a young age right now. Make sure your body gets, you know, developed and matured.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet.
Awesome stuff there, Andy. And you've developed a ton of experience yourself. I could tell just going through the last number of years here, coaching a lot of kids, you know, right there in Ethan's age bracket. And Andy's signing a baseball for you there, Ethan, right now. Ethan, you must be kind of a baseball historian. You go back through the years there?
Yes, sir.
Big fan? That's awesome. Awesome. Well, and you got the baseball coming your way there from Andy and Ethan.
Yep.
Thank you very much for being here.
All right. Thank you.
Ethan, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, good luck to you, Ethan, in your seasons ahead. And Andy, our next fan coming in from backstage is calling in from Liverpool, New York, not too far from my old stomping grounds in Syracuse. Says he's always been a huge fan of the Yankees, which Andy makes him a huge fan of yours, and says his favorite memory at Yankee Stadium was taking his daughter there to her first game last year. So let's bring in Mike from Central New York, Liverpool to be specific. Mike, how are you? You're on Fanatics Live with Andy Pettitte.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for doing this. This is really
cool. You bet.
So one of my questions that I had was, I mean, you were part of so many great teams. Do you have one team out of, maybe all those championship teams that really sticks out, that's like your favorite team that you ever belonged to?
Yeah. That first one's always so special, right? I mean, just in 96, that was just what a thrill that was. Our 98 team was so fun. I mean, super fun to play on. So that was, a team that I really, really enjoyed also. I know you're asking for one. It's so hard to just put, on one. But our 09 team, to be able, for us to have, it had been 9 years since we had won. And then being later in my career, I think I was 38 at that time. And, nobody really giving us a chance, thinking we were maybe a little too old to be able to get it done again. That was a really fun team. Also, I was an older player. We had some younger players. CC we had brought over, and he became a good friend of mine. And C was just fun to play with. And me and him obviously had a great time together. And so, those are the three teams that really stand out to me that just I really enjoyed being with.
Yeah, I bet you, and probably get a chance to maybe take it all in a little bit more when you're
for sure, and appreciate it. As a young player, we were going every year, we were winning every year, and it's just like, it just flew by, and it was like, you just didn't soak it all in, I don't think. And I think after having a 9-year drought, I was able to go in 2005 to the World Series with the Astros the year I was with them. But we didn't win, so it still was a drought as far as winning the thing. And so, after 9 years of grinding to try to get another one, it was awesome to be able to do it again, and definitely helped us appreciate it a lot more.
Nice.
Well, Mike, Andy's got a baseball there for you as well to sign. And Mike, you've been a Yankees fan for a long time, it sounds like, and obviously,
driving
really
down tomorrow to go to the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There you go, Mike.
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.
All right. You bet, buddy. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks very much, Mike, in Liverpool, New York there. And we've got one more fan patiently waiting backstage here. So let's go out to Jennifer calling in from Fords, New Jersey here today. Says she would be a first base woman if she played baseball. And Andy, she says she became a fan of yours because she is always and forever a New York Yankees fan. Let's go out to Jennifer in New Jersey. Jennifer, welcome into Fanatics Live. You're on with Andy Pettitte.
Hey, Andy. Thank you for this
Jennifer.
opportunity.
You bet.
Hi. Thank you. What made you become interested in becoming a baseball player?
Well, I was pretty good at it, so that really is it. My dad didn't play baseball in high school or anything like that. He was a football player. So originally, as a young kid, I wanted to play football. I was hoping to be in the NFL one day. That was a dream. But obviously, as you start to grow up and go through, junior high and high school sports, I ended my football career after my sophomore year in high school when I was 5'6" and I was playing nose guard and I was getting double teamed. And I was like, well, this isn't any fun, And so then focused on baseball and just had great success at it. Obviously being a left-handed pitcher, and then started to grow and get bigger. I was, my senior year in high school, I was 6'4", and so anytime you have a left-handed pitcher that's throwing strikes and got a big frame, that's usually, pretty attracted to teams. And so I had a lot of success in high school, and then was able to go to college and was recruited by, all the different, teams around the country. And then of course get drafted by the Yankees and just tried to get better and better each and every year, and wanted to always play baseball. As a young kid, when I started playing baseball, I think when I moved to Texas, I was in 4th or 5th grade, and immediately I just got into baseball, and I was always pitching, and I always had success. So just fell in love with the game.
Thank you for answering my question.
You bet.
And Jennifer, Andy's got baseball there to sign for you. And I know I'm probably speaking for you, Jennifer, and everybody else out there, but I know we're all happy that Andy chose baseball and pursued a career in baseball, because I can speak for myself as a kid born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s. So many of those big games I watched back in the 90s, 2000s, you were right there front and center, Andy, on the mound. So it's been a thrill watching you.
It's been fun. I was definitely blessed. Jennifer, I signed this ball for you right here. We'll get that to you, I'm sure.
I greatly appreciate that.
You bet. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jennifer in New Jersey. So some great questions coming in there from the people backstage. And Andy, going to switch gears now here, take some questions from social media. It's where we let the folks on Instagram and other avenues have a turn asking some questions. Make sure to follow Fanatics on Instagram and keep an eye out for stories where you can submit your best question to each of our guests and earn a chance to have that question answered live on the air. So now we turn the page over to Instagram, Andy. And first, we're going to go out to Alex on Instagram.
Andy, 2009 was the first year I watched baseball, and I got to see my hometown Yankees win a World Series. What is your favorite moment about that season behind the scenes? Something that a casual fan or the media may not have seen.
Ooh, that's an interesting one right there. So, you know what? That World Series behind the scenes, I would say we were blown away, I think, whenever Alicia Keys and I think Jay-Z are out there performing a concert before one of our games. So kind of behind the scenes, I would say that was probably one of the coolest things about that 2009 World Series, other than obviously being able to get to play in a World Series.
Yeah, it was a heck of a run. And something I thought of, Andy, you were just talking about it a few moments ago with one of our guests. But early on, you guys achieved a ton of success. And then when you went back there in 2009, that was the fifth one for you that you had won. But I'm sure every year it was special because – and what kind of a thrill was it when – I know you'd been there before, but you had a lot of teammates, whether it was younger guys or established veteran guys that were – getting that first taste of it. Yeah. I mean, in 2009, that was the first time that Mark Teixeira and Hideki Matsui and some other, and CeCe, a lot of other big time guys. That was their first taste of it. So what did it mean to not only be able to win it, but to see some of those other guys experience it for the first time? Yeah,
it's super special, and obviously too, that we're getting older in our career, right? It's towards the end to the guys that they were calling kind of the core four and stuff like that. And so, anytime that now CeCe, now AJ, now Tex, Brett Gardner, I think back then, and the guys Cano, like these guys now know what it takes to win a championship, and that's always a huge advantage, because no matter how long you've been in the league, no matter how good you were, how many Cy Youngs you won or MVPs or whatever, when people would come to New York, it was a little different. It was a little bit tougher for them to make adjustments and stuff like that, especially coming to New York and trying to win championships. So anytime that you could get that kind of experience and gain that kind of experience as a young player, I know it gave us, I'm talking about Derek and Mariano and Georgie, us, all that success we had earlier gave us so much confidence when we got in those games. It had to have helped those guys also, for sure.
Yeah, we've seen it in all sports, how far experience and know-how can take you and what that savvy can mean. Let's go out to another fan on Instagram. We've got Pat right here with a question on Instagram.
Hey, Andy, this is Patrick Mitchell from the Bronx, New York. And my question to you is, how tough a decision was it when you left the New York Yankees to sign with your hometown team, the Houston Astros? Thank you.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Never would have dreamed that I was going to leave New York, and unfortunately, the decision ended up being fairly easy, just because at New York had made me the worst offer out of like 6 teams, 7 teams, I think, to make me offers. So that was a tough decision. It really was. Never, like I just said, never thought that I would leave New York after what I had done in those first 9 years. But anyhow, if I had to leave, the decision was easy. Also, I took the next worst contract that I could take, and I signed with the Houston Astros that was offered to me. So, it was a good 3 years there. It was my hometown. My son Gerrit is well documented. At the time he was having a lot of health issues. My last couple of years in New York. It just felt like if I was leaving New York, I was just going to go home and be around my family and stuff like that. So that was a special time for us. And then thank the Lord, I was so happy to be able to go back. It made it so awesome to be able to get back to New York and sign back with them in 2007.
Yeah, it had to be a tough decision, but like you said there, you got to be a part of some good Astros teams and got to play with a lot of quality players there too during your time in Houston, and got to go back home as well. With that, before we get to the rapid fire portion, Andy, which is going to be coming up here in just a moment, we're going to take a brief pause for a word from our sponsor.
Introducing the FanCash Rewards Credit Card by Fanatics. Earn 6% FanCash when you shop with your card on Fanatics.com with exclusive cardholder perks and 6-month special financing on purchases of $150 or more. Text now to apply or go to Fanatics.com.
Well, today's show is brought to you by the FanCash Rewards Card by Fanatics. For more information on exclusive perks and benefits of being a cardholder, head on over to Fanatics.com or text fan events to 94323 to apply now. Well, Andy, we come up now on the final chapter of today's edition of Fanatics Live, the rapid fire portion, if you will. I'm going to throw something your way. Just tell me what comes to mind. Some of it baseball, some of it off the field. So you ready? We're going to dive right in.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, Andy, first, if you could play another position on the diamond, what would it have been?
Catcher.
Hey, that's an important position and a position you became pretty familiar with as well, working with them every day over the course of your career. Andy, you signed some autographs for some great fans a little bit ago here. Whose autograph do you want? Or maybe whose autograph have you gotten that was a great thrill?
I would say I hadn't got Aaron Judge's autograph. I need to get his.
I think we might be able to arrange that for you. I think we might know some people. Were you a guy who kept a lot of memorabilia from your career? I know some guys do, some guys don't. Did you keep a lot of stuff?
I did. I tried to. Definitely in my last year or so in the big leagues, milestones that I would hit as a Yankee, tried to keep them. And then early in my career, I collected a lot of stuff. My first 2 or 3 years. And then it was just kind of like, I kind of got off of it. But I had a lot of stuff that I collected my first few years in the big leagues.
I'm sure you and your family get a kick out of it all, going back through it nowadays through all that stuff. Andy, who was your favorite pitcher growing up?
Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens.
Oh, there you go. Got the Texas theme there with those guys. Who's your favorite pitcher in the game today?
Man, I don't watch a lot of baseball. I try to keep up with the Yankees. So I would probably say, obviously, I love watching Gerrit pitch. I mean, he just does a great job.
Yeah, Gerrit Cole, special pitcher there. Hey, Andy, if you could have jersey swapped with anyone, I don't know if that was a big thing when you were playing or not, but if you could have jersey swapped with anyone, who would it have been?
I'll go Nestor Cortez.
Oh, there you go.
Appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah, current Yankee having a lot of success.
Yeah.
And Andy, we said there'd be some off-the-field questions here. Texas, Louisiana, they border each other, but who's got better food?
Texas.
Texas. Do you have a favorite Texas food specifically? The Tex-Mex, the barbecue, anything like that?
I love Tex-Mex, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not a big spicy, like Louisiana is so spicy, and I got very sensitive taste buds, which is terrible to say, but I do.
Well, you can't go wrong. And there are two places where, you just so many great food options, Texas and Louisiana. Andy, you got pretty darn close considering the modern era with 254 wins. Do you think we will ever have a 300-game winner again?
Oh, that could be tough. I think Justin Verlander might be able to do it. I know Justin, I think he wants to pitch, for a while still. So if he can stay healthy, he had the surgery and boy, he looks as strong as ever. So other than him, I just think it might be tough just to where the game's gone, unless it folds back to letting these guys start throwing, 120, 130 pitches during the course of the game. It's just so hard to get wins when you're not getting a pitch in the 8th inning and 7th inning.
Yeah, Verlander seems like he's found the fountain of youth, and I think you can't overstate it enough. To get 300 wins, longevity, you have to be healthy, you need a little bit of luck, and you got to be on good teams too for a long time to rack up those wins. Favorite family activity, Andy?
Love to go hiking with my family in the mountains.
That's awesome. Great family activity there. One word to describe the season that Aaron Judge is having.
Wow.
I can't think of a better way to describe what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's just been on fire, and he's been consistent on that as well. Andy, how many home runs do you think Aaron Judge will finish this season with?
Man, we're in the middle of August. He's got 46, I think. Man, I think he might hit 63.
Would be the new American League record if he can accomplish that, and a new Yankee record as well.
I think he's got a good shot to do it. I think he's I think mentally he's in a good spot, and I just think he's got a really good chance to do it. In that ballpark, the power he's got, the way he's barreling balls up, I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah, he's kind of made for that park. That park's kind of made for him, and he is just locked in. Well, Andy, that takes us up to the end of the show here today, and I said it a little bit earlier, but huge thrill to get to talk to you. I became, my baseball fandom really grew in the '90s, and you were right there front and center pitching so many of those big games throughout the 90s and 2000s. Thrilled to be able to talk to you. I know I'm speaking for a lot of the people out there tuned in when I say that, but thanks again for joining us today. And did you have anything else that you wanted to say to all the folks out there who are watching?
No, it's great to be here. Thank you guys so much for all your support over the years. Just been very blessed. And Doug, thanks for doing this great show. Enjoyed talking with you today.
Great to talk to you as well. It's been an honor and a thrill. And Andy, will catch up with you again at some point down the road. Best of luck with everything, and thank you very much.
Sounds good.
That is the great Andy Pettitte, everybody. I hope you all had a great time. Fun to hear from Andy, and we wish him all the best. As a reminder, be sure to follow us on social media at Fanatics to be able to submit your best questions to our future guests, and go to fanatics.com/live to view any upcoming appearances and watch previous broadcasts. Keep in mind, we have Yankees All-Star catcher Jose Trevino coming up on September 1st. So mark that one down on your calendar. That is September 1st for all the Yankees and baseball fans out there, Jose Trevino. Well, that takes us to the end of the show. Big thanks once again to Andy Pettitte for joining us today. Thanks to all of you who tuned in. Thanks to our entire outstanding crew for a job well done as always. Folks, my name's Doug Plagans. Thanks again for watching. This has been Fanatics Live.